We are going to open up the meeting with a reading of the Open Public Meeting Statement. So that goes. New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies, at which time any business affecting their interests is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act and Board of Education Policy 0162, the Board of Education of the Borough of Bound Brook has caused notice of this meeting to be posted in the board office and at Bound Brook High School and mailed or faxed to the Courier News, the Bound Brook Borough Clerk, South Bound Brook Board of Education, and any person who has requested individual notice and paid the required fee. At this time, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Board Secretary, a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bell.
Here.
Mr. Dawson. Ms. Gazzino.
Here.
Mr. Incalcatera. Here. Mr. Zupko.
Here.
Ms. Moosen. Here. Mr. Minhas. Here. Ms. Hyde.
Here.
Mr. Volmer. Here. And Mr. Januzzi.
Here.
Mr. Board President, you have a quorum present this evening.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we would normally do president's comments, but tonight's version will be vice president's comments. Mr. Bow.
Well, thank you. As the Bound Brook PTO is currently in my basement putting baskets together, they have asked me to promote their upcoming Tricky Tray on Saturday, March 29th. Information can be found at boundbrookpto.com. There is a lot going on right now. There are women in and out of my basement every night of the week. They are working super hard on this, and they would really appreciate all the support that you can give them.
Agreed. Thank you, Mr. Bell, and thank you again to all the volunteers of our PTO. At this time, we will welcome Dr. Freeman for his superintendent's report. Please, Dr. Freeman.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our March board meeting. It's great to see so many smiling faces, so many students in the audience, in addition to our students of the month. At this time, I will call Mr. Ross up to recognize our students of the month for Lamont and Lamont Annex.
This is for our littlest and our best little learners. So we have for the pre-K, it is Jeffrey McLean. Come on down, Jeffrey McLean. Come on down. There you go. Congratulations. So, Jeffrey has two siblings and loves math activities, yes? And learning numbers. You want to play baseball, Fortnite. You like monster trucks? Yeah. And playing with dinosaurs. Good. And when you grow up, you don't want to be a superhero. You're going to be a superhero. All right. Come on up for a picture. Do a picture. Yeah, let's do a picture right here.
Nice.
Okay, so it is kindergarten dual language. It is Theon Cornejo Diaz. Come on down. So Theon does not have siblings, but is into physical education because you like to exercise, which is great. And your favorite activities are coloring and playing video games. And when you get older, you're going to be a firefighter.
Wow.
No. What are you going to be?
You can't change.
We're still figuring it out, but that's okay. Firefighter first and then something else. Congratulations, sir. You're welcome. Come on, let's take a picture. Good job. Here we go. And it's first grade now. It is Angelina Argueta Alberta. I'm not sure if Angelina was able to make it tonight, but I do want to mention, has 3 siblings, loves to read and write, and practices all the time in first grade, enjoys playing with her friends, and is a creative artist. And in the future, Angelina's thinking about potentially being an artist when she grows up. Thank you.
Thank you. And next up from Lafayette School, we have Mrs. Cajas.
Okay, our second grade student of the month is Brianna Hernandez Cook. Brianna is from Mrs. Patel and Miss Reese's class. Miss Reese is here today. She has 2 siblings, Isaac and Amy. Brianna says, my favorite subject is science because you can make a volcano. Baking soda and vinegar can make a volcano. Her favorite hobbies are art and PE, and she wants to be a chef because she really likes to cook good like Amy. Who's Amy? Amy's her sister. Okay, we're going to take a picture over here, okay, honey? Our third grade student of the month is Perla Rosas. Oh, let me try that again. Perla Rosas Amazak. Perla is from Miss Fitzgerald's class. She has 1 sister. Her favorite school subject is math. Come, Perla. She likes to draw the Powerpuff Girls and play at the park, and she wants to be a police officer. Congratulations, Perla. I'm going to take a picture, okay? You ready to take a picture? Go over here.
And next up from Smalley School, we have Mrs. Winters.
So from Smalley School, our 4th grade nominee is Ashley Marquez Rivera. Ashley has 1 brother. Her favorite subjects are math, science, and art. She likes to draw, play volleyball, and play soccer, and she wants to be a veterinarian when she grows up. Our 5th grade student of the month is Helen Mancia Hernandez. Helen has 3 sisters and 1 brother. She loves art, loves to draw. She loves to play tag with her friends, and she also either wants to be a veterinarian or a voiceover actor.
Oh,
Thank you.
Our 6th grade student of the month is Juliana Rosina Telez. Juliana is here from Miss Petrus' 6th grade class, and Miss Petrus is here to celebrate her as well. She has 2 siblings, 2 brothers. Her favorite subject is math. Come here. We'll have everybody come up. She likes to play volleyball and soccer, and she's still deciding what she wants to do when she grows up. Congratulations. Oh, thank you.
next up from Community Middle School, Dr. Santa Surma.
Hello, everyone. The Community Middle School is proud to announce Ethan Polanos Mejia as Student of the Month. Ethan was nominated by his teacher, Miss Goldrosen. Nominated by his teacher, Miss Goldrosen, has an older brother, Christopher, who I see here in attendance tonight. Hi, Christopher. Favorite subject is science because he loves to learn about space and how the world works. Favorite hobbies is making YouTube videos, which we kind of look at every day at dismissal, right? Using your phone and doing science-related things and hanging out with family. When he grows up, he wants to be an astronaut or an astronomer. Next up for the Community Middle School, Student of the Month, Yasemin Kamatsin Perez. Yasemin was nominated by her teacher, Mrs. Bennett. Has 1 brother, Julio, and loves art. Favorite hobby, of course, is drawing, and when Yasemin wants to grow up, when she grows up, she wants to become
And last but not least, we have Mr. Smith from Brook High School.
Good evening. Our first Crusader Citizen of the Month is Aldair Guerrero Espinoza. Aldair has 2 siblings. His favorite subject in school is math. He enjoys to cook and play soccer. And when he graduates from high school and hopefully entering a culinary program to become a chef. So congratulations. Our next recipient is Justin Jimenez. Justin is an only child and has no siblings. Justin's favorite subject in school is English. He enjoys fishing, hanging out with friends, and going on walks. His future career plans include going to a trade school to work on collision repair and refinishing technology programs, and hopefully own his own shop one day. So, congratulations. Next, we have Madison Huffman. Woo! Madison has 7 siblings. Her favorite subject in school is physical education. Madison enjoys playing soccer, drawing, sleeping, talking to her friends, and going out with her sisters. And when she grows up, she wants to become a traveling nurse. So congratulations.
Nice.
Good job. And last but certainly not least, Beatrice Arudo. Beatrice has 1 sibling, Kyle. Her favorite subject in school is French because she loves learning a new language. You also speak Spanish as well? And then she enjoys going to the gym, going out, running, and shopping. In the future, she plans on going to TCNJ for a career in early childhood education to become a teacher.
Yes.
So, woo!
Okay, at this time we have, let's have another round of applause for our students of the month. At this time, we have one additional student, not a student of the month for the district, but she was recently given an award by the Somerset County School Boards Association, a special award for Unsung Hero. I am going to turn it over to our president, Mr. Januzzi, who is the vice president of the Somerset County School Boards Association, to present talk a little bit about it and present a gift. Mr. Smith, you want to come on up?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Freeman. As Dr. Freeman said, each year Somerset County School Board Association recognizes one student from each school district based on the following criteria. It's a student who makes your school a better place simply because they're a part of it and who may often be overlooked or under more traditional recognition criteria. So these are really the students who make Bound Brook the community that it is, right? Represent our culture, have all of the qualities that we look for in terms of making your way and finding success. And so I'm really excited to be able to recognize Doris tonight. And Mr. Smith, hoping you can say a few words about why she was nominated for this award.
Absolutely. Please listen carefully to her story. It's very unique, and it really exemplifies the epitome of hard work, perseverance to achieve a goal, overcoming and overcoming odds.
All right, it's 2 pages, but I'll tell you, it's worth every second because this young lady deserves all the recognition that she is receiving last week and tonight as well. So, there we go. Doris Nicole Amaya Inestrosa's journey began in a small, poor, and sparsely populated town called Tolabe in Honduras. However, her childhood truly unfolded in an even smaller and more deprived village and received little to no attention from the government. In this remote place, ambulances and buses were nearly impossible to locate unless specifically summoned. Medical emergencies and police visits were rare, often occurring only once a month, and usually to collect a dead body. Like any other child, Doris clung tightly to her mother's hand on her first day of kindergarten. But unlike many others, she feared not only the uncertainties of school, but also the dangers beyond, terrified that one day, in her pursuit of a better life, she might disappear and never return. Most of Doris's childhood memories centered around school. She could often be found under the trees, swaying in a hammock while immersed in books, or playing with dirt and clay to create pretend pots. In her village, libraries were non-existent and books were a rare privilege, more luxurious than a phone. Phones, though, were seldom used as internet access was almost unattainable. Despite the technological limitations, the village thrived on community. Most people knew one another. The village had one church, and religion was a cornerstone of life. It was safe to assume that nearly everyone was Christian, as that was the only denomination represented. Doris had many responsibilities growing up. She cared for pigs, cats, dogs, horses, chickens, and the family farm. She learned invaluable skills from her grandparents, making milk, yogurt, harvesting crops, and preparing coffee and other foods from scratch. For Doris, these tasks were more than chores. They were a legacy passed down through generations. Even the simplest activities like buying a book for school or traveling to purchase a dress became monumental missions. Trips to the city, whether by bus or car, were infrequent and could take 3 to 4 hours depending on traffic. On these journeys, Doris witnessed the struggles of others, parents working tirelessly, shouting "Agua de Coco" at every stop, while their children stood beside them, barefoot and teary-eyed. She always asked her mother to buy her coconut water from them, even if it wasn't sanitized, simply because she wanted to share a piece of her blessings with those less fortunate. Returning to school after these trips, Doris felt immense gratitude. She had teachers and, most importantly, the opportunity to attend school. With her uniform neatly pressed and her supplies ready, she wasn't just a student. She was a determined child thriving to achieve greatness for those who couldn't. Doris was an honor scholar for as long as she can remember, excelling in her studies with unwavering dedication. Everything changed when she moved to America. Adjusting to a new school where she couldn't communicate with anyone besides her parents and her ESL teacher was a daunting challenge. Doris often felt isolated. Her fear of speaking because of her accent keeping her quiet in many conversations. But she persevered, driven by the sacrifices she and her parents had made. She braved harsh winters, long summers filled with extra lessons, and autumn days where she mostly listened in class, determined to overcome the language barrier and prove herself. Since becoming a scholar at Bound Brook High School, Doris's high school experience is a testament to her passion for academics, leadership, and service. With a perfect 4.0 GPA, she has challenged herself with rigorous coursework, including AP and honors classes in English, Spanish, biology, and history, as well as dual credit courses in anatomy and law. Beyond the classroom, she has excelled in athletics, earning varsity letters in track and field, soccer, and cross country, while also contributing to a range of extracurricular activities such as the debate club, national honor societies, and student-led initiatives like the founding of the Life Skills Exchange Club that empowers students by fostering creativity, knowledge, and practical life skills to enrich their lives and positively impact the community. Furthermore, Doris helped coordinate the Yellow Tulip Project through Middle Earth, which is a youth-driven initiative focused on smashing the stigma surrounding mental health and promoting hope and community through initiatives like planting yellow tulip gardens. Her leadership roles, including serving as president of the Rho Kappa Social Studies Honor Society and secretary of the Debate Club, reflect her ability to inspire and guide others. Deeply committed to community service, Doris has actively participated in volunteer work through Interact, Rho Kappa, and the National English Honor Society, supporting causes like food pantries, shelter assistance, and town cleanups. A creative and empathetic scholar, she balances her academic and extracurricular pursuits with a love for art, nature, and creative writing, all while staying on her dream of a career in pediatrics to serve and uplift others. Doris exemplifies dedication, resilience, and a commitment to making a meaningful impact in her community and beyond. Currently, Doris claims she isn't entirely sure where God will guide her next, but she remains confident in what she will achieve, just that little girl in the village once did with so little. She, she holds fast to the wisdom of Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will have enough worries of its own. Doris cherishes her roots, recognizing that her culture and the humbling, often harsh experiences of her past have shaped her into the person she is today. Through trials and tribulations, she has learned to remain grateful, knowing that it is this gratitude and perseverance that make her an unsung hero. Let's hear it for Doris. Woo! Look at that.
Doris, would you and your family please come forward so we can present you with a little token of recognition from our Board of Education? Okay, at this time, we want to recognize some of our outstanding staff, our district employees of the month. I would like to call Ms. Winter forward to recognize our employee of the month from February. Let's have a round of applause for Ms. Mallon.
It's an honor to recognize an outstanding educator, leader, and mentor, Diane Mallon, as our district teacher of the month for February. Diane is the heart of our school community, bringing dedication, warmth, and expertise to everything she does. As a teacher leader, Diane takes on the immense responsibility of running the WIN program, ensuring that students receive the targeted support they need to succeed. She carefully reviews data, schedules students, and provides guidance, always striving to meet each student's individual needs. Her attention to detail and deep understanding of her students allow her to make decisions that truly impact their learning and growth. Beyond her leadership, Diane is a nurturing and kind presence in our school. She is not only a support system for her students, but also for her colleagues. Affectionately referred to as Mom by many, Diane fosters an environment where everyone, students and staff alike, feel valued, supported, and cared for. She is always willing to lend a helping hand, whether it be in the lunchroom, covering a class, or pushing into the classroom to support her students. Her selflessness and dedication make her a true team player who always puts the needs of others first. When I asked her colleagues to share something about how she has impacted them personally or professionally, here is some of what they said. As a leader within the ASI team, Diane sets a wonderful example of kindness and professionalism. When I started as an ASI teacher last year, the transition was a significant change for me, and Diane's guidance and support made all the difference. She welcomed me warmly, always took the time to ensure I felt included, and stepped in whenever she noticed I was struggling. Her ability to uplift those around her truly separates her from other teachers. Another colleague shared, she has the innate ability to be present for those who need her, whether it's offering a hand on a challenging lesson or simply listening an ear when things get tough. No matter who it is or what the situation, if anyone in the building is in need of assistance or support, Diane will always be there without hesitation, ready to offer help in any way she can. As you can see, Ms. Mallon's hard work and commitment to education are evident in everything she does. She not only teaches, but understands the needs of her students, ensuring that they feel seen, heard, and empowered. Her passion, patience, and dedication have made her an invaluable part of our school community. Ms. Mallon, thank you for all you do. Your impact reaches far beyond the classroom, and we are so grateful to have you at Smalley. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition.
Very well deserved. Very well deserved.
Keep me honest, Mike. Come on.
And next up for March, we have Mr. Smith will come up and say a few words about our co-employees of the month from Bound Brook High School.
I made a joke to our staff. Dr. Stewart, Mr. Schaffner is like peanut butter and jelly, or like ham and cheese, kind of like a package deal. They go together. So, when deciding on, who our staff member of the month would be, it was only fair and warranted to give it to the both of you. So I know it was kind of a little break from tradition, just selecting one candidate, but you both deserve this. So it's a co-award. Okay. So that being said, we're proud to recognize Dr. Marion Stewart and Mr. Chris Schaffner as our staff members of the month for their outstanding dedication to the band program and their exceptional leadership in assisting with the coordination of the most recent band concert. The band concert was a true reflection of their hard work, meticulous planning, and commitment to excellence. From selecting engaging pieces to ensuring seamless event coordination, they executed every detail flawlessly. The result was a remarkable performance that showcased the students' talent and dedication while bringing the school community together to enjoy the musical pieces they practiced during their first semester. In addition to their commitment to the band program, Dr. Stewart and Mr. Schaffner have taken on the challenge of teaching brand new courses this year, including keyboard, guitar, Latin music and dance, music exploration, music production, and music in American culture. Not only did they develop the curriculum for these courses from the ground up, but they also carefully selected and ordered the necessary supplies to ensure students have the best possible learning experience with music. Their innovation and dedication have expanded our music program, providing students with exciting new opportunities to explore and develop their musical talents. With the inception of these new courses, Dr. Stewart and Mr. Schaffner have gone above and beyond to inspire and guide their students, fostering not only musical excellence, but also teamwork, discipline, and a deep appreciation for the musical arts. Their passion for music education is evident in the way they challenge students to reach their full potential while cultivating an inclusive and supportive learning environment. Marion Stewart and Chris Schaffner are invaluable members of the Bound Brook High School community, and their contributions to their students and the music program deserve the highest recognition. Their dedication not only enriches our school's arts culture, but leaves a lasting impact on the young musicians they mentor. Please join us in congratulating Marion and Chris on this well-deserved honor and recognition. I didn't think a bouquet was appropriate for Mr. Schaffner, so I got him a nice cactus-looking plant.
Well deserved. Congratulations. I guess they're off to practice. Okay, at this time, we would like to ask all of the students of the month and their parents to come up to take a group picture. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you.
For our largest recognees, maybe to the back or down so we can see everybody, but otherwise I think we're pretty good. I'm not going anywhere. Mike, can you see everybody? No.
Photograph this whole Pentland's birthdays.
Game changer. Sweet.
How are you?
You guys can go down. I'll just say.
Nick, somebody come take a picture of the.
I haven't seen him yet. I'm waiting with bated breath.
That was a beautiful speech, and it was so fitting. It was so fitting. That's who you are.
You know this young man, right?
How are you? Good to see you. I'm awesome. How are you? I'm fantastic.
Yeah, you look it. You look it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can I get a picture?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, with you, Dr.
Oh,
Friedman. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what are you doing? Tell me real quick.
I'm teaching in North Plainfield.
Really?
Yeah,
What do you think?
fourth grade starting next week.
Congratulations.
Math, science, social
I know
studies.
you love it.
Yeah, I'm at the middle school or the intermediate
What's
school
your
right now.
superintendent's name?
Dr. Kino.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing lady.
I
Really.
decided, she's like, why?
I
not?
said,
For a while,
I
was-
see you as a teacher. And so
Yeah.
he started last
yeah, the fall.
and he's on fire.
Yeah, it's been a lot more natural than I expected it would be.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
the
You
transition
look
back in it.
amazing.
Thank
I
you.
know something's going on well.
Thank
All right, good seeing you.
Good to
luck.
see you too.
All right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna do the report for the student board report.
We're gonna do student board report, but not now. Mike goes there. All right, everybody, at this time, we are up to agenda item 2.4. This is a presentation of our tentative budget as well as a public hearing on the same. At this time, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Mr. Gorski, our business administrator, to walk us through the particulars. Mr. Gorski.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. Just a reminder on the procedure for the tentative budget adoption. It's a little unique. The administration is going to provide a presentation with a few PowerPoint slides and information. Then I will read a resolution to adopt the budget. Hopefully we get a first and a second. Then we will have a public forum where any members of the public who wish to comment on the budget have a right to do so, but only on the budget. Then we will have a board discussion once they hear from the members of the public, and then we will have a vote and hopefully an adoption of the school tentative budget.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 25-26 school budget presentation. We're very happy to present to you for the third year a very well-developed, fiscally responsible, comprehensive budget that really covers the district's needs in terms of the classroom. I'm very proud to say that 66% of the funds will go into the classroom in the form of coaching, supplies, technology, professional development. One of the signs of a great budget is the fact that the money goes into the classroom. And this budget does exactly that. We have to thank a lot of people for that. Before I turn it over to Mike to explain the details, first I want to thank our Governor Murphy. For those of you who know, for many years, S2, we weren't properly funded. He committed to fully funding the formula. He did so. Over the last 2 years, we've received the benefit, and this year as well. So we're able to catch up and give our students, our staff, our community what they need in order to be the most successful. Also, I want to thank our administration. Our team put a lot of hard work, a lot of conversations, collaborated back and forth, looked at data in order to make the right decisions about what was to be purchased, what services were to be provided. So I want to congratulate them for that and thank them. Also, our Michelangelo of money, right? Our Michelangelo of money, Mr. Gorski, who worked tirelessly. And this is kind of his, I would talk more, but this is kind of his baby, you know? So I want to give him the opportunity to talk about it because he put so much hard work. And I can tell you, I've seen several BAs. I don't know if I've ever seen one as thorough, with a deep understanding of what needs to go in the classroom and the ability to save money as well as to make money through CDs, bonds, very savvy. So I want to thank him for that. Also, our Board of Education. Worked with boards of education for many years. I've never seen them more supportive. When we talk about budget, many times people go to their boards and they talk about the idea of cutting. Our board says, what else do you need? Let's figure out a way to get it if it's needed to meet the needs of the students. So I want to thank the Board of Education for that. And this gratefulness is not obligatory. I really mean what I say. We have one of the best teams I've ever been a part of. I feel blessed to be a part of it. And I'm going to now turn it over to the Michelangelo of money, Mr. Mike Gorski.
Doc, do you have the clicker? Thanks. I'm old school. I like to hold on to the podium. All right. Welcome to the 25-26 school budget presentation. And I want to most importantly thank Dr. Freeman. He is the visionary behind the budget. For the last 3 years, we have infused a lot of additional revenues into the budget and provided a lot of additional firepower into the classrooms to meet the board and the district goals. This is the third year of that installment process where millions of dollars of additional funds have been deployed to the classrooms, to the teachers, to the professional developments, as Dr. Freeman said, textbooks, training, ESL, special ed, the two biggest areas that we have need in this district. We've focused the majority of the funds on in the last 3 years. And of course, thanks to Governor Murphy, the funds didn't stop. We picked up $1.8 additional million of state aid this year, when most of our colleagues lost 3 to 4%. So we're very fortunate. The formula was run, equalization aid formula was run, and Bound Brook is becoming more adequate in terms of the funding definition of that word every year. Also like to thank Ms. Robin Griffin, a Chief Academic Officer. She was involved in nearly every educational decision of what type or what widget should go into the budget. And she's an expert on curriculum and staff training. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank a very talented Miss Christine Lee, who is not only the Assistant Business Administrator, but also has the most important task of being our grant manager. And she does a very fine job with both. This year, Christine entered every single number into the state's budget software, and I think she has a mastery understanding of the budget from start to finish. So thank you very much, Christine. Members of the Board of Education, as Dr. Freeman said, we have an all-star Board of Ed, and I don't mean to just say that. Mr. Januzzi, Mr. Bal, from a leadership standpoint of the board, Mr. Zupko, chair of the operations committee, which sees all of the financial activities of the school district, Ms. Lisa Gazzino, Ms. Joanna Musson, Mr. Danny Minhas, Mr. Sidney Dawson, Ms. Teresa Suhai, Mr. Donald Vollmer, and our most recent addition, our South Bound Brook representative, Mr. Nicholas Incalcatera. And we're very happy to also welcome our student board Representative Mr. Harrison Musson. Operations Committee, as I mentioned, is chaired by Mr. Zupko and served by these fine members of the Board of Education. The board's mission statement is important. Bound Brook Board of Public Schools is a supportive multicultural community that provides an innovative and academically challenging educational program while offering a variety of extracurricular and social opportunities that encourage lifelong learning and citizenship. The vision, you could read it. This is how we accomplish the mission. And the school district budget has two important goal areas in mind. The board goals, and these are those that the Board of Education works hard with New Jersey School Boards Association to develop. And the district goals, which are those belonging to administration. Every consideration in this budget was around the board and district goals. Otherwise, we would just be wandering through the process. The executive summary: to prepare a comprehensive budget. What does that mean? It serves all areas of the district, especially those in most needs: special education, ESL, bilingual. Meet the need of projected additional students. We're going to get to a slide in a little bit that's going to show you all of the increased enrollment over the last several years. Bound Brook is unusual in that we are still growing at a very solid and consistent pace. And that was recognized by the state of New Jersey this year with an enrollment adjustment to our cap if we needed it. Expansion of curriculum programs and staffing to broadly improve student performance. Budget for capital outlay projects. It seems like every school building in this district needs some upgrade, some improvement, and we've been responsibly doing that every year, and this budget is no different. We have a lot of inflation, as everybody's familiar with, hitting the budget, particularly in transportation, maintenance, contracted janitorial services, and we've had some horrific projected increases in our commodity prices for next year, up to 25%. That's very hard to meet when you have a 2% cap. And what is the timeline for the budget? How does all this come together? First, we establish a budget philosophy. What do we want to accomplish this year? Do we want to reduce taxes? Do we want to increase our facility wherewithal? Do we want a budget for increased resources for staffing? Do we want to develop our staff further? All of this is met. And then tonight is the adoption of the tentative budget. And we will have one more step after tonight, hopefully, and that's the public hearing and the final adoption next month. Where does the money come from? 61% of the budget revenues come from state aid. And that's a very good and also a very concerning statistic. Because when the well is flowing, it's wonderful, as it's been for the last 3 years. But it's showing signs of starting to dry up. We went from $6 million of additional state aid to $5 million to $1.8 million this year. And we're fortunate to have received that because there are a lot of districts who lost money this year, more lost than gained. Tuition and miscellaneous revenue, we've had very amicable discussions with South Bound Brook administration and the board to come to a resolution on tuition because we had a large adjustment come due from 2 years ago. And it was a lot to fit in a 2% budget cap, as we recognized. We also, from a board and administrative standpoint, did not want to impose too harsh of a bill on South Bound Brook, which could impair their ability to meet their goals and elementary and middle school needs. Local taxes to this community, taxes are high comparatively, but they are only 24% of all revenues. And we've worked diligently to try to suppress that, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. And one area that Dr. Freeman and I do control is the fund balance. Every year, we ask the board and the public to adopt the budget, and we do our best not to spend it to its fidelity. We engage in all kinds of saving activities, from purchasing consortiums to making money on any additional areas such as certificates of deposit. We're now earning over $400,000 a year on our CD portfolio, which helps and transfers into the general fund to meet our appropriation needs. Federal aid, you've heard a lot about threats coming from the federal side. Fortunately, that's only 4.65% of our pie. And miscellaneous and transfers from other fund are a fraction of a percent. But the majority of the funds come from state aid, and that's something to just keep an eye on and read and understand what's coming. There's a handout for the comparative revenue schedule. Most noteworthy there is the increases in state aid, the slight increases of about $280,000 for the tax levy increase. Tuition revenue is increasing, miscellaneous income is increasing. Grant money from the state is not increasing. We just digested all of the COVID grants, and we were told by the County Department of Education to budget 15% less for all federal and state grants. Here is a calculation, if anybody is interested, in how the general fund tax levy is calculated. Basically, it takes last year's general fund levy, adjusts it for enrollment, and we had a significant enrollment adjustment based on our ASSA student count as of October 15th of the last few years. The state does a trend line based on that, and they afford us an adjustment for enrollment, $1.5 million. We could have taken that and gone above the 2% cap by that amount of money. We also received an adjustment for healthcare. Our healthcare costs have increased 7.5% on average for the last 3 years, and that made us eligible for an adjustment to cap for healthcare. So you could see between the two adjustments to cap, that's $2 million we could have went above the tax levy cap. But we chose to defer that resource to future years if needed, because we met all of our obligations within the general fund 2% standard growth and all of the other revenue areas that we're able to achieve in the budget. So we did not impose any more upon the taxpayers, but that money is not lost. If there is a future need, if state aid dries up in the future, this district will have the ability to raise the general fund levy by as much as $2.4 million over a 3-year phase-out period. No prior year's bank cap has been appropriated. The healthcare adjustment to cap and the enrollment adjustment to cap also have not been appropriated and are carrying over as banked cap. Key facts on state aid: equalization aid is our biggest form of state aid. Bless you. Equalization aid is designed to help a district support their adequacy budget. And then there is a local fair share calculation where the state looks at a district's incomes from your New Jersey 1040s as well as your property wealth, and they determine if you need state assistance in meeting your adequacy budget. Brook has always needed such, and we qualify and we get $33.4 million, our largest state aid award for that category. And then the next one is categorical aid, and that's, as the definition implies, based on the different categories of aid for extra items such as special education, security, transportation. And a lot of these are reward type aids. The more efficient a district is in running a transportation department, the more transportation aid you will receive, based on an eligibility of state revenues, of course. Our state aid grew almost $1.8 million. That's a 4.7% increase above last year. One area of state aid that we were very disappointed and surprised with is the preschool education aid, which we have received notification, thanks to Dr. Freeman's contacts at the New Jersey Department of Education, that the state is looking at the preschool aid formula because a lot of districts got severe cuts of double-digit decreases to the preschool program. And without similar aid funding from last year, cuts to those programs would have to happen. And as most educators will share, that is one of the most important areas to meet the needs of students right off the bat, or you'll lose them for years. Where does the money go? As Dr. Freeman said, when you take the instructional classifications and you allocate benefits directly for the teachers and staff, 2/3 of our budget goes directly in the classroom. That's extraordinarily high. This district's debt service is extraordinarily low at 2.6%. And we satisfied the Smalley commissioner-approved lease purchase in the 24-25 budget. So we no longer have $700,000 a year approximately of debt service for that amortization schedule. Administration's under 8%. Capital projects are 4%, 5%, and they're growing. We're spending more on transportation because our contracted special education transportation services have had extraordinary inflation. And athletics and curriculum development and all those are represented there. There's a schedule comparatively showing every line item of appropriations for all funds from last year to the 25-26 budget. And budget spending is directly driven by enrollment. And this is your enrollment in Bound Brook Board of Education for the last 5 years. And you can see there's significant steady increase in enrollment. However, our facilities are at capacity for the most part. So in this budget, we will show you in a minute that we are tactically meeting our needs for student enrollment with a modular classroom addition of 4 to 5 classrooms at Lamont that will help the preschool program and could be used for anything that the district chooses to reallocate that the building for in the future. Ms. Griffin, as you've reviewed all of these appropriations before they were decided upon, it would be most appropriate for you to talk about these. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to go over what we added in for curriculum and instruction and programming. This is just kind of an overview, and then I'll break it down a little bit in more depth on the next slide. So we're going to be enhancing our curriculum and programs for the 25-26 school year, getting new and updated materials for history and math courses in middle school level, aligning our curriculum maps to the standards, the new standards, updating ELA, ESL, world languages, and high school courses such as science, math, social studies, ELA, hiring new bilingual teachers, hiring new special education teachers, enhancing our summer and before and after school enrichment opportunities. And then that's the bottom one, if you can see it, expanding special programs for families and community connections. Okay, so if it's broken down, we have 7 additional staff members that we would like to have in this budget. We have a bilingual math teacher for our middle school. So this is to support our programming that we put into place in the elementary school with the dual language program where the students are getting instruction in English and Spanish. We would like to continue the programming for these students in the middle school and have a bilingual math teacher to continue with the math support. Then at the high school, we have a need for 3 teachers, one in the math department, one in the science department, and one in the social studies department. And these are to provide more opportunities for expansion of courses and to work on adjusting the schedule and making sure that we have enough staff to cover all of the courses that we need to teach. We have 2 special education teachers that we're adding in. We need a section in the middle school to address a population of students that is coming up from Smalley into the middle school and making sure that they have a class and program that's appropriate. And then we have a special education teacher at the high school, and that is also to support our students and our programs. And then we also have an assistant superintendent position in this as well, which replaces a retired assistant superintendent position. Our textbooks, programs, and resources, we have expansion of our text, novels, mentor text, classroom libraries in K to 12, providing resources for our students, for to expand on what we already have. We have a variety of texts, and we just would like to get some more books in students' hands. Then in grades 1 and 2, we have a need for document cameras so the teachers can use that to display examples for students. And we have it at grades 2 and 3, or we have it at one of the schools. It's positive, so the other elementary school would like to have that. We have science kits and materials for our 6th grade students right now. They need a revamping of our programs that we have at the middle school to support our science, so more hands-on materials so they can do experiments and things like that. Middle school social studies, getting new materials for that, and middle school math. The middle school teachers have been asking for extra support in what resources they have because they're different than the elementary and the high school, so we want to make sure that we give them a voice and they have their own lens on curriculum. Middle high school social studies DBQ project. So this is a writing project that is infused into the history classes, and this focuses on critical thinking. It focuses on using research to write. And then world language textbooks. So it's been a while since we've updated our world language programs for French and Spanish. So we are getting some new textbooks, some new resources, and refreshing our textbooks in that area. And that's it, right? Okay, so now when you add in all those new textbooks and those new programs, we have to write our curriculum to match. So we have a lot of curriculum writing. So a lot of people are going to be really busy this summer writing curriculum and making sure they're ready for everyone. So in the elementary school, we're working on our writing programs, our ESL, our math and science, and our Spanish. In the middle school, we have different levels of ESL. We also are working on our integrated language arts, which is also for our ESL students. Spanish 1 and 2, our ELA 7 and 8, and our social studies 7 and 8. And then at the high school, we have, we're working on our AP chemistry, special education math courses, our math 9-12, ESL integrated language arts. Our world language programs need a lot of curriculum revisions and rewriting. So we've got all our levels of Spanish, including some of our new courses that we have, like our Spanish heritage language courses, and then our French courses, 2 new English courses, our folklore course and our film course, all 4 of our English courses, and then U.S. history 1, 2, and world history. I think, is that the end of it? Yeah. Okay. So lots of work, especially at the high school. And then this is kind of just a review of what the first slide said and everything else. One of the big things is our student learning standards. So we've had updates in student learning standards, specifically over the past couple of years from 2020 till now, with math and science being our most recent one. So we just want to make sure that our curriculum addresses the most current standards that are out there. And then we want to make sure that our curriculum writing and our maps are supporting our teachers. Our teachers are a part of writing the curriculum maps in the program. We want to make sure that they're updated and that they make sense for what we're teaching. Our multi-tiered systems of supports. So that would be our academic support, also our gifted, our ESL programs, our special education. Our in-school, before and after school, and summer programs, obviously the textbooks, the technology. As you know, we got our new computers, so we still have to keep on making sure we update the technology with Promethean boards, things like that. Continue increasing our gifted and talented opportunities to make sure that we are providing these opportunities for all of our students. Continuing our multilingual learner supports, and then some of our assessments and our assessment tools that we use to make sure that what we're teaching is actually what we're addressing is actually the students are actually learning. So we have our data warehouse Linkit, which houses all of our testing results, and then we use some of these different types of testings. Then professional development. So whenever you change things, you add new things, you want your staff to know the newest strategies and best practices, you have to provide professional development. It's important. It's important for teachers to continue to learn. So we need to invest a lot of money in that. And then we also have professional memberships, not only for our administration, but for some of our teachers who are specifically members of organizations throughout the state. And then now it's back to Mike. Okay.
This slide shows that we are spending a little over $2 million to address capital needs in the district, and that doesn't tell the whole story because the preschool modular classroom is actually a $4 million expenditure. And from that $4 million, we are lease purchasing the actual modular unit, which means we're financing that over a 5-year period to better match the lifespan of the asset. And with interest rates where they are, that made a lot of sense. The foundation part of the $4 million, which is about $1 million, where we had to budget for directly because the leasing company cannot come collateralize the foundation if they had to. We didn't pay the debt. But the rest of it is going to be lease purchased over 5 years. We are going to address sealing and striping in all parking lots, catch basin at the football field and asphalt at the high school, field house roof, drainage issues at the high school. All the remaining schools are getting new signs. The annex bathrooms and basement ceiling is going to be redone. Gym wall padding at Lafayette and bathroom renovations to a small extent at Smalley School. We're spending about $900,000 on various equipment that you could see, including copy machines, sensory wall kits that we're most proud of, musical equipment, stage lighting, and a lot of those Promethean interactive panels. We save a lot of money in this district from shared services, and this list is growing each year. We're working with the municipality. We're working with county consortiums to share any costs that we can. We reach out to other school districts for transportation jointures. If we're both going the same way, might as well just share the route. And we are very proud that we are at the inception of working on a shared services committee with Southbound Brook. And we're scheduling the next meeting as we speak so that the two districts can collaborate on saving money. Next, we'll talk about the tax rate. What influences the tax rate? Number one, state aid. Obviously, if we didn't receive the amount of state aid that we received this year and we weren't blessed with that and we had to go into the tax levy, that's going to affect the tax rate. Fund balance applied. Dr. Freeman and I, through the management of the budget ending June 30, 24, were able to increase excess surplus by about $300,000, which is a revenue by statute in the 25-26 budget. Township ratables are what shares the levy, and the value of everybody's property through town shares the ratable, the tax levy. And finally, student enrollment, as we mentioned, that is the biggest driving factor in why we have to budget for so much. And we are very pleased to say that the culmination of this budget, which is infusing millions of dollars into the classroom, is resulting in a school tax rate decrease of 3.9 cents. The average assessed home of $447,000 will experience a school tax decrease of approximately $170,000. This metric is very dependent on the specifics of the property. Not everybody is going to see a school tax decrease. This is looking at the community on average. As the property values grow each year, everybody shares in more of the levy and everybody's rate goes down. And Dr. Freeman and I would like to sincerely thank everybody who had a hand in this budget, which started in November. Notably the principals, the vice principals, the supervisors, the directors, Ms. Griffin, Ms. Lee, and certainly the Board of Education for all your patience at all the committee meetings going over all of this information and data which we've provided before. We have a 4 to 5 classroom addition to Lamont that's coming. We're most pleased with that. That's going to be open January 1st of 26, which is very fast. It's a pre-made unit in Georgia. And aside from the construction for the foundation, they just drop it down. It's outfitted already and ready to go. 7 new staff we talked about. Health insurance rates are a big challenge for a lot of school districts. The school health State Health Benefit Fund is going up 15%. We are at 13.5, and our average over the last 3 years has been 7.5. We have new curriculum, new special ed, new bilingual, new professional development, new technology, $2 million of capital projects, $900,000 of equipment. In summary, without much additional contribution from the local taxpayers, the Bound Brook Board of Education in this 25-26 budget is providing for the 3rd year a very comprehensive budget with significant additional educational increases to support our teachers and educators, with additional staff, professional development, coaching, technology, specially deployed to the areas of bilingual and special education. We're adding new sections, we're growing, and we are most confident that we will meet or exceed the board and district goals with the resources that we are thankful to the community for providing in this budget. Thank you. Mr. Gorski, are we going to address item 2.5 tonight? Yes, sir. All right. If it pleases the board, I would like to recommend a resolution to adopt the 25-26 tentative budget, and then we will open it up for a public forum so the public can comment specifically and only on the budget. And after hearing that, the board can deliberate, and then we will take a vote on the adoption of the budget. May I proceed? Please. Thank you. As recommended by the Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved by the Bound Brook Board of Education that the 25-26 tentative general fund budget be adopted in the amount of $58,023,282, and a tentative general fund local tax levy in the amount of $14,244,882, and a tentative special revenue fund in the amount of $3,074,533, and a tentative debt service budget in the amount of $1,633,263, and a tentative debt service local tax levy in the amount of $762,773, whereby the tentative 25-26 budget totals $62,731,078. And whereas the Bound Brook Board of Education has been notified of state aid amounts, and whereas such state aid amounts are for the 25-26 equalization aid is $33,438,223, and the 25-26 school choice aid is $131,835, and the 25-26 categorical special education aid is $2,511,744. And the 25-26 categorical security aid is $830,194. And the 25-26 categorical transportation aid is $137,591. And the 25-26 preschool education aid is $1,768,877. And the 25-26 debt service aid is $870,480. And whereas the Bound Brook Board of Education has estimated a state aid amount pursuant to application, and for the 25-26, the estimated extraordinary aid amount is $200,000. And whereas policy 6471 and NJ Administrative Code 6A23A 7.3 provides that the Board of Education shall establish in the annual school budget a maximum expenditure amount that may be allotted for travel and expense reimbursement for the 25-26 school year. Now therefore be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education hereby establishes the school district annual travel maximum for the 25-26 school year at a total of $57,500. And be it further resolved that the school business administrator shall track and record these costs to ensure that the maximum amount is not exceeded. And whereas due to consistent student enrollment growth, instructional staffing and program needs, facility needs, and other priorities set forth by the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education is budgeting to maximum spending authority, which does not include an automatic enrollment adjustment to cap of $1,552,491, and it also does not include a healthcare cost adjustment of $551,555, both of which will instead be added to the district's bank cap. The district is not applying any previous year's bank cap. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the superintendent of schools and the business administrator board secretary file all required documents with the executive county superintendent of schools. May we have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Mr. Zupko, and who is the second? Mr. Calcaterra, thank you. Mr. Januzzi, motions on the floor. You may now open it up to public forum.
Please, any questions or comments at this time? Sounds like you did a very good and thorough job, Mike. There are no questions. Shall we move to, what's the next item then?
Board discussion.
Sure, board discussion. I think if the board were going to discuss anything, we probably would have heard that by now too. So you're in the clear, Mike. What's next?
The vote, sir.
Sure. Why don't we do a roll call, please?
Thank you. Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Ms. Casino,
Yes.
Mr. Incalcaterra, Mr. Zupko, Ms. Moosen, Mr. Minhas, Ms. High, Mr. Volmer, Mr. Board President.
Yes.
Mr. Board President, motion passes. And on behalf of Dr. Freeman and the administrative team, thank you for your support of the 25-26 school budget.
Thank you. Round of applause for Mike and the team. Really job well done. All right. At this time, we are up to our student board member report. Harrison, your hot takes for this month, please.
So starting off with our sports news, with the end of the winter sports season, lots of spring sports hosted their first practice on Monday, March 10th, including girls softball, spring track, boys tennis, volleyball, and baseball. Two wrestlers on the high school team, junior Kobe Morgan and freshman Brianna Sandoval, will compete at the NJSIAA State Championships at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Brianna Sandoval secured her ticket for winning the NJSIAA Girls North 2nd Region. She went 4-0 with 3 pins and 1 tech fall. Kobe Morgan secured his ticket by placing third at the Region 4 tournament, going 4-1 on the weekend. Middle schooler Brian Hernandez on the middle school wrestling team qualified for Kids States, which took place on March 2nd. Moving on to our cheer team, they ended their season placing second in the co-ed intermediate cheer/dance competition. The winter track team will have 3 individuals going to Adidas Indoor Nationals in Virginia Beach, including Dylan John Baptiste in the long jump, Dawson John Baptiste in the triple jump, and Olgerd Malik in pole vault. They will also have one individual, Dawson John Baptiste, who is also going to New Balance Nationals in Boston for triple jump. He set the new school record for triple jump in the high school at 45 feet and 7 inches. Congratulations to all the winter athletes across all sports for their amazing accomplishments and contributions to the high school. Moving on to school news. On March 4th, the freshman Avid class planned and hosted a tour of the high school for RMS middle school students. The RMS students came to the high school at 9 o'clock and did many activities with the high schoolers, including tours of the school, icebreakers, scavenger hunts, sample assignments, and shadowing students in their classes. There were a total of 44 of the middle school students who came to visit, all giving very positive feedback on the Avid class and Bamberg High School. The junior class is currently in the middle of NJ GPA testing, which started on Monday, March 10th, and will end tomorrow, March 13th. The senior class continues to be accepted into colleges, with many people committing to universities such as Rider, Monmouth University, and more. National Honor Society presented an anti-racism and anti-bullying presentation to the 5th graders in Smalley Elementary School with lots of fun activities teaching them why bullying is wrong. On March 3rd, for Read Across America, the National English Honor Society went to Lamont and the Annex to read to the younger students there. On March 6th, the high school hosted its second blood drive of the year with over 100 people registered to donate blood. On March 7th, the National Computer Honor Society took a trip to Smalley to have a presentation on coding, and they did an activity on the platform Scratch with the students. Finally, on March 8th and 9th, the Bamberg robotics team competed at Mount Olive in the first Mid-Atlantic District competition, going against 34 other teams. They placed 14th individually and 7th in teams. They also won the Donald Bowers Inspiration Award. This award recognizes a person that instills values of FIRST and STEM, teaching and inspiring their community. And that's all.
Great report. Any questions for Mr. Musson? Nicely done. All right, we are up to our committee reports. Mr. Dawson isn't here, but Mr. Bell, it looks like you're ready to go.
Oh, sure.
Would you like to do the education committee report?
I wasn't sure if it was going to be me, so
I love you being prepared.
I brought up his notes. So Mr. Dawson this morning sent me notes, so I'm just going to read them. I was obviously at the committee meeting, so if you have questions, I can answer them for you. The Education Committee met on Monday. Our focus was to review the mid-year achievement data with several of our district supervisors. The data overall indicates strong growth, as well as some opportunities for further growth. In pre-K and K, students are working on phonemic awareness, letter and number identification, and problem solving, which, by the way, I can add in is a shift in our curriculum. In fact, our pre-K curriculum has changed completely in the last year. So we're looking for big gains there. A focus on phonics and differentiated reading is generating gains. At the primary level, we are seeing benefits from our academic support staff pushing into rooms to assist with small group instruction. Students in grades 2 through 6 are working to solidify their skills, and it appears that work to departmentalize subject teaching has also been beneficial. A common indicator in the lower grades, was a need to increase understanding of measurement and data analysis in math. So staff are working to embed these skills more frequently. And I can say as a math teacher, that is common throughout districts everywhere. Measurement and data analysis is always challenging. At the middle and high school level, staff have implemented common assessments within their departments. In some areas like 8th grade language arts, we are seeing strong growth. We are working with students to build their stamina to read longer passages. In math, building fact fluency is a priority. Data meetings between administrators and teachers have been productive in planning next steps. And then, just parenthetically, as a board, we always ask at the end of our education meeting what we can do to help them, and we can support them, we were told, by working to fund curricular revisions and additional books in our upcoming budget, which you saw in tonight's budget presentation. So it looks like we are aiming to meet those same needs that we were asked for. And that's what I have here. Any questions for education? All right, then.
Very good. Rolling right into governance.
Come on. It's a different tab. Hold on. What are we doing, governance? Okay. So at governance, we spent the majority of our time talking about the rotating drop schedule and the sidebar agreement that we are working on with the union at this time. They went over all the details. I'm sure we've all heard them before, but just in case, here are some of the highlights. The workday for teachers would actually end up being 5 minutes less. There would be time at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, which we would be calling unassigned time, about 15 minutes each at the beginning and end of the day, so they can prepare a little bit more and not have somewhere where they have to be. Teachers will teach 5 classes instead of 6, which, by the way, I'm sure you heard in the presentation of the budget, is why we will be looking to hire a few more teachers so that we can fill some of those spots. We also will be changing, well, if this were to go through, we would change the amount that is paid when teachers teach an extra class. This happens once in a while when we don't have a leave replacement. This often happens, and a teacher who has 5 classes has to take on a 6th to cover that teacher who's out and on a maternity leave, for instance. So we right now obviously would pay 1/6 of their salary because they're teaching 5 classes. That would go to 1/5 of their salary. The math makes sense there. And they would also, if I have these numbers right, we would now have 360 minutes of planning time with 60 minutes being common planning time. Okay, just making sure that was right. That's what we did there. I do have one other question, but does anybody have any questions about that, about the rotating drop schedule that I can throw over to Mr. Ross? He's the answer man there. No? Okay. I did have one question for you, Mr. President. I was on the email, I believe, that you sent to Ms. Reese about our progress, and I just wanted to see if you got any response from her, because I did not. I wasn't on it if you did.
It's a great question. So I have not received a response yet, but just to acknowledge, the last item that we needed to complete as a board before we attained master certification was self-evaluation of the board. So hopefully everybody has done that. If you haven't, the NJSBA website is not currently up to date, so I can't tell you who has and who has not. But as soon as that's available, we'll download those results, synthesize them the same way we do the chief school administrator's evaluation at the end of each year, and then discuss them before we accept and move on. So sadly, that's not ready yet, but hopefully by the time we meet next, we will have the results and we can check that off our to-do list.
Okay, and one other thing while we're on the topic of Ms. Reese, also I realized that we had not, for this year, 2025, done our ethics training. I know that now we have a full board again with Mr. Incalcatera. We can move forward with that, so I'm going to reach out to Ms. Reese and see when she's available. And then, so just keep an eye on your emails, because I'll be sending out dates. Hopefully, we can coordinate with our regular board meeting, but if we can't and we have to come in for an extra night, then I'll give you hopefully a bunch of options of dates that we can do that. That's the plan as of now.
Good point. And then the last comment, I guess, on training, Mr. Gorski, obviously everybody is due to complete their required training, depending on where they are in their tenure. So just encouraging everybody to get in touch with Mr. Gorski and his team to make sure that you get registered for that as soon as possible.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions from Mr. Bowell on governance?
What's that? Can I do that one?
You wish. Ms. High, up to you for human resources.
It's going to be very brief. For human resources, every meeting we start our agenda with just the new hires, looking at what positions we need to fill, what have been filled. It's an ongoing process, which is always updated so that we know what we're looking for. And you can look on personnel and see what has come up this month. The only other thing was the sidebar update with the strength and conditioning coach, and that is also an item that is on this month's agenda. That is all.
Thank you, Mrs. High. Any questions? All right, we're up to operations. Mr. Zupko?
This should be brief, which
should.
it should be, because the budget was phenomenally presented. basically there was a budget update. I'm kind of gonna not revamp, but go over everything a little bit for the notes. Mr. Gorski and Dr. Friedman updated the Operations Committee where currently the budget revenues balance the budgeted appropriations with no fatal errors. And the NJDOE budget software, members were presented a printout of the 2-year comparative revenues and appropriations. Dr. Friedman reminded members that the district has prioritized and concentrated most new revenues, mainly from increases in state aid over the past 3 years. Too much needed curriculum, staffing, professional development, and faculty needs. The additional $1.7 million of the 25-26 state aid is no exception. Ms. Griffin highlighted all the new program instructional enhancements to the 25-26 budget, along with the need for 7 additional full-time staff, which we saw tonight. Mr. Gorski indicated that the budget was at 2% tax levy cap, but in an effort to continue to suppress local taxes, the district was not budgeting available adjustments to cap for enrollment and healthcare costs. These unused tax levy adjustments will carry over to the next 3 years. Budgets as a bank cap, so if the district was to encounter a shortfall on revenues in the next 3 years, budgets, they can basically tap into that. Mr. Gorski, I just wanted, if you can comment on that a little bit in relation to going forward for what we would be looking at.
Certainly, the unused tax levy cap adjustments from this year were total of $2.4 million. And the district has a limited time in the future before they expire of a graduated schedule up to 3 years. So, for example, if, God forbid, the district was to lose state aid next year of a significant number, the program needs here would still be met. Unfortunately, the burden would be shifted from the state's obligation to that of the taxpayer, which we are able to avoid this year.
Thank you, Mr. Gorski. District is planning on completely outfitted modular addition to Lamont preschool program with bathrooms, staff workrooms, and more. There are other facility upgrades and equipment budgeted, and that was discussed tonight as well. Tax consequence of 25-26 budget is a school tax reduction of approximately 3.9 cents, which calculates to a school tax decrease to the average assessed home in Bound Brook of $170,000 per year. Members recommended the budget to the Board of Ed for, was that 170?
170.
I'm sorry. I put in 1,000 just for my, I got excited for a second.
Yeah.
$170 per year. Members recommended the budget to the Board of Education for tentative adoption. On a personal note, Mr. Gorski, I've been in education for 30 years, and I have to say, and Dr. Freeman and Ms. Griffin, the job that you've done is not just spectacular, but in being in a number of different districts, it's incredible. And I think that we are honored, and I'm humbled to work with you guys. I know the Board of Education is as well. So from the bottom of our heart and from the bottom of the taxpayers' heart, we want to thank you, and I want to give you another round of applause.
Very much so. Good job, Roger.
That's all I have for operations. If there's any questions, you can ask Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Zupko. Maybe just 2 quick updates on some of the projects that we have in process. I think really for no better reason than we have a good idea of getting excited about them. So I know in the middle school, we just recently started, or hopefully are completing at this point, renovations to the gym that have been long anticipated and overdue. So that's done. That's great. And then the work in the high school that we've deferred because of winter sports season, hopefully is going to be getting underway soon as well. So as we continue, as we continue to see upgrades to these facilities, which are overdue and needed, I think it gives us reason to be proud of the community and the events that we're hosting, as well as inviting not only our students into each building on every day, but people from outside the community and within the community into them. So I hope the members of our staff and administration are as excited about that as I am, and you board members are as well. Any final comments about operations? I'm adding a demerit to your record. Mrs. High, can you just give a brief comment about SCESC, please?
Somerset County Ed Services Commission meets um, every other month. So it would be a meeting for the executive committee and then a meeting for all of the districts involved. So this past meeting was an executive meeting, so there are no minutes to report from that. So next month will be the report on what the commission is doing.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I always forget the schedule. And last but not least, Mr. Incalcaterra, anything you'd like to report for Southbound Brook?
Well, on top of the excellent report that was given by the student board member, good job, about the RMS students that came for their introduction, which I hear went well. We've been concentrating a lot lately on the facilities, on getting maintenance schedules correct, and starting to plan out for our repair of things like the roof, the gutter systems, things of that nature. Other than that, does anybody have any questions?
Just maybe in terms of your own budget presentation and adoption, is that something that has been presented or will be? 18th. Very good. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Incalcaterra? All right. As always, excellent work in the committees. The reports are always very thorough. Thank you to our staff partners who are really doing the heavy lifting in terms of all of the agenda items and everything else. And for our board members for continuing to participate. I think we actually had a few meetings where we reached quorum and needed to ask people to step out of the room so that we could abide by the appropriate laws and regulations. So great to see all of the interest and participation. At this point, we are up to item 5.1, which is public participation and comments regarding agenda items. So this is in accordance with District Policy 0167, which governs public participation in board meetings. Members of the public are required to sign at the podium and provide their name, address, and group affiliation if applicable. When addressing the board, please state your name and address and limit comments to agenda items only directed to the presiding officer. Each participant is allowed 3 to 5 minutes to speak, and no individual may address the same topic more than once until all others wishing to speak have had an opportunity to do so. So at this time, is there anybody who wants to address us regarding agenda items? Okay. So we're on to item 6.1. Be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approves the minutes for the following meeting. This is regular and executive meeting minutes for February 19th, 2025. I have a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Mrs. High. A second. Thank you, Mr. Incalcaterra. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Gorski, a roll call, please.
Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Ms. Gazino,
Yes.
Mr. Incalcaterra, Mr. Zupko, Ms. Moosen, Mr. Minhas, Ms. High,
Yes.
Mr. Volmer, and Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 7.1, be it resolved that the superintendent recommends for approval the resolutions as outlined in district personnel resolutions. These are items 7.2 through 7.39. May I have a motion? Thank you, Ms. Musson. A second. Thank you, Mr. Minhas. Any discussion? Okay. Before we get to a vote, just for Mr. Incalcaterra's benefit, we merged multiple sections together in the agenda probably last year or the year before. So just keep in mind that the items that have the double asterisk are the ones that are applicable for middle and elementary schools. You got it. All right, Mr. Gorski, a roll call, please.
Certainly. Mr. Bell,
Yes.
Ms. Gazino,
Yes.
Mr. Incalcaterra, Mr. Zupko, Ms. Moosen, Mr. Minhas, Ms. High,
Yes.
Mr. Volmer, and Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 8.1, be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in district education resolutions. This is 8.2 through 8.19. I have a motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Bal. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Zupko. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Gorski, a roll call, please.
Mr. Bal,
Yes.
Mr. Dawson. I beg your pardon. Ms. Gazino,
Yes.
Mr. Incalcatera, Mr. Zupko, Ms. Moosen, Mr. Minhas, Ms. High,
Yes.
Mr. Vollmer,
Yes.
and Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 9.1, be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in board action resolutions. These are items 9.2 through 9.21. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Bal. A second. Giving it to Mrs. Guzino. Any discussion?
Yeah, just a quick thank you on 9.11 to Costco for the backpacks.
Absolutely. Any other comments or questions? All right. Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bal,
Yes.
Ms. Gazino,
Yes.
Mr. Incalcatera, Mr. Zupko, Ms. Moosen, Mr. Minhas, Ms. High,
Yes.
Mr. Vollmer,
Yes.
and Mr. Januzzi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We are now up to other matters to come before the board, which I have not received any, which leaves us to new business from any of the committee members, if there's items that you would like to raise or address that were not on tonight's agenda. Mrs. High, please.
Wait a minute. Okay.
You don't have to hold it anymore.
We don't have to hold it anymore?
Change it.
Yeah, as long as the
All right,
lights.
Tina.
are on,
Thank
you're good.
you.
Also,
And here I've been, my finger's exhausted.
by the way, sorry to steal your thunder, but also IT guys, no more red flashing lights. So I don't know what you figured it out. Good job.
Thank you, thank you. Well, what I wanted to say is, March is a busy month in the schools and I have to say, as a board member, just to be so proud to go into the schools and in the community and see what's going on. Attended the Unsung Hero at NJSBA. What a wonderful experience. So going from that and then reading to the preschoolers over at the Annex for Read Across America. And I just love their questions because some of them have so much to do with what you read and some have nothing whatsoever to do. So it just was fun to be there. And also just attending robotics. They had a wonderful program and the kids were so articulate and so involved in it and so happy to see too that their mission statement, the first thing is to teach, to learn, to inspire. Wow. And that really kind of goes with our whole thing, enter to learn, go forth to serve. They presented themselves so well. I actually asked if I could see their report. With the next day, I received that. They also did the the award that they got was the Sustainability Award, which was formerly the Chairman's Award, which is a really big thing with robotics. It's really big. And they've received it for the past 2 or 3 years, is it, Ed? 2 years. That's huge. So these kids are so involved, the time that they put in. But again, I just, as an educator myself, I just was so proud of what I was seeing. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. High. Any other new business? All right. At this time, we are open to the public for discussion. I will save my breath and just note that the same provisions apply as back on agenda item number 5, with the exception now that the forum is open for anybody who would like to address us about any topic. Yeah. Yeah, your turn. Yeah, would you like to?
You want to talk? Your time to shine.
You've been so patient. Don't apologize. You've waited for hours for us. We might as well wait. Yeah, if you want, sure. Why don't I grab those while you start talking? It's green.
No, not yet. Oh, we're going handheld.
Test, test.
There you go. Plan B.
Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna make this pretty much as quick as I could, because I am on the time limit. I'm just gonna start by introducing myself. I am Andrew Townsend. I work with a company called Document Solutions. At the moment, we are teaming up with West Windsor, Plainsboro Regional School District, as well as Lawrence Township School District, helping them with water coolers to provide a healthier drinking water solution for the schools. For the staff, students, with the reports that I just handed out to you guys, it is a report for Bound Brook Township of the water systems. And with that being said, this is everything that's in the water for this township of Bound Brook. And if you flip, you can just flip through, you can see everything. On one of the pages is a customer list for the school districts that we actually do a lot of work for. As you guys mentioned earlier in the presentation, you are looking for 2 copiers for the newer classrooms. We handle copiers as well, so that would be something we'd be able to help out with. And then if you flip to the last 2 pages, these are the systems that we implement in the schools to ensure the purity and the healthiness of the water itself, to ensure that the children are getting the best water possible, to eliminate everything that you've seen on the first few pages.
So let me just say thank you on behalf of the board for coming out and addressing us tonight. We really appreciate you sharing the information as
No
well.
problem. I
Hopefully,
stay 2 minutes away, so it's nothing.
Yeah. It's great. So you've given us something to consider, which we'll do, and we'll let you know if there's anything we'd like to follow up on.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
I don't know how to work this. I'm not going to touch it.
You're good. All right. At this time, we are up to item 13.1, move to go into executive session. So resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education enter executive session as allowed by NJSA 10:4-11 for the purposes listed below, including 1, 7, and 8. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Bowell. A second. Thank you, Mr. Incalcaterra. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned to executive.
We got your numbers tonight.
Okay, everybody, we ready to get going? Awesome. So if I'm reading this correctly, keep me honest.
Go ahead.
We have nothing to move in 14?
Correct.
Awesome. So we are right to number 15.1. Be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in approval of HIB cases under middle and elementary schools. This is just item 15.2. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mrs. High. A second? Thank you, Ms. Musson. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Item 16.1, resolve the Bound Brook Board of Education adjourns. A motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Guzino. All in favor? Aye. Have a good evening.
You want to stay?